If you just started doing it, you'd be done already. So all those fears, barriers, I just had to face them and just start doing it.
I'm coming to you from my screen porch today, but later I'll be visiting my friend Anastasia at her office. Anastasia Dubose Moon grew up in suburban Atlanta, riding horses and taking dance lessons. At age 19, she fell into modeling. Her family was concerned. They thought it would distract her from her college studies. But she was tall and beautiful and moved well, so it quickly became a significant source of income. So she shifted to working during the day and going to school in the evening, and she did eventually get her marketing degree. She had a loyal clientele. Clients like Saks and Neiman's and Macy's supplied regular runway work, and major Atlanta corporations like Delta, Home Depot, and Jacuzzi kept her busy with commercials. At 22, she married. For her, she knew that modeling would just be a stepping stone as she saw older women in her industry transitioning into other fields. She thought she might become a stay-at-home mom, but as she and her husband started their family, her income was a necessity. At 23, they purchased their first rental property. Before long, they had more than 20 properties, which in the 90s was a gold mine. But sadly, the economy tanked, and those rental properties no longer provided the security that they'd hoped. It was during these trying times that their marriage began to get off track. They had two different perspectives. Anastasia wanted to make lemonade out of lemons, but he just shut down. So she forged ahead. And eventually, her long-time volunteer involvement in a completely different area began inspiring a new dream. And at the age of 45, Anastasia went back to school to get her master's. And spoiler alert, it wasn't in marketing. And that new degree would turn a long-time passion into a rewarding new career. Welcome to We're Not Dead Yet, Women Rocking Their Next Chapter. We're here visiting Anastasia at her office at Connections Behavioral Health and Complex Pain Recovery. Anastasia, thank you for allowing me to come here and share your story.
Sure.
I am particularly excited about this one because what I didn't share in the intro is what you got your master's in. And that is mental health.
Yes.
So as I've shared with you, I have a long family history and personal history with mental health issues. And I have long been passionate about it before it was cool. And I have always talked openly about issues from my brother's suicide to my issues with anxiety and depression.
Yes.
My children are open with their issues with ADHD, and I think it's so important to continue to remove that stigma.
Absolutely.
And share these issues openly with the world. So this episode is particularly near and dear to my heart. So you have been in practice now how long?
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
Yes.
And so I told the viewers you started school at 45.
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, there were a few barriers, like technology was a little scary, and the cohort was small, so there was just a few of us over 40. So being with a variety of ages was really fun, really, really interesting. And, I had kids, practically their age. So that was fun. And just getting down to school, getting in the traffic and, making that commitment and going to class. And, it'd been a long time since I've been to school. So
were you continuing to model at that time as well to pay bills, or what were you?
No, I actually, when I got in the program, if it conflicted with school, I did not do it at all. I didn't miss one day of class.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Where did your interest in mental health originate? Why was that when you reached that stage, you said, this is what I want to do?
What I want to do. So, a couple things. One, in my early 30s, I started going to Al-Anon. It's for friends and families of people that love alcoholics.
Okay.
And so I'm loving an alcoholic, growing up in an alcoholic home, has its own challenges. There's a lot of literature that the family members are probably just as sick, if not sicker, than the person.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because
I'm sure.
you have that stinky thinking, and you become insane. Like they say, you have insanity or sanity with like Al-Anon, or you have life or death with AA. So you still have a choice here. And I learned a lot. I learned about you can't control other people, and you can only take care of yourself, and what codependency is.
Everybody could benefit from some of those tools.
Well, statistically, 80% of all households have some dysfunction in them. So, and that's normal.
Sure.
So anyway, Al-Anon was very helpful. I became a sponsor and loved doing that, and was helping other people. And I really changed my perspective on so many things. I mean, mental health is kind of misunderstood, but the stigma is getting much more understood. There's definitely a movement for that, because there's anxiety, there's depression, there's some people just have a problem they need to talk out, and it's not really, doesn't have to be a big deal.
Sure.
And they just need someone to help them find that solution, right? Find their way. And I always tell my patients, or I call them clients, you'll be the last one that actually notices when you change. Other people will kind of start saying something, or they'll start responding to you differently. So, and that was true with me. It's sort of like people would say things like, you seem different, or you seem happy, or, things like that. So that was pretty reassuring. And I knew I had to make money, and I knew modeling wasn't going to be how I wanted to do it. I kept talking to my girlfriends about how I'd want to be a therapist, and a couple ladies in my neighborhood, before I moved, we'd walk probably 3 or 4 days a week. And one day she looked at me and she said, if you would have just started doing it when you start talking about this, you'd be done already.
There we go.
Right.
That's that we're not dead yet portion that I'm so passionate about. Sometimes not only do we need encouragement, sometimes we need a swift kick in the pants from the people that know us best and aren't going to let us off the hook.
Yeah, she was right. So all those fears and barriers, I just had to face them and just start doing it, getting in the solution. And I actually took a class to help me pass the GRE, the General Entrance Exam, to get your master's. So, because I didn't want to fail.
Right.
I wanted to, learn what I could, and it's been good.
And so, somewhere along the way, your marriage did finally come to an end.
Yes.
It had started to get off track early on, but, or not early on.
I mean, I'm kind of halfway through. I was married for 30 years.
Yeah.
I think the real estate crash, I think he got depressed instead of reinventing.
Part of the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I think so. Just waiting for it to turn around, and it really didn't. I mean,
right? Not for a long time.
Not for a long, long time. Not really till like the last 4 or 5 years, honestly.
Yeah.
So, as the writing was on the wall with the marriage, and it started to get off track, I'm a firm believer in that you commit. I was married 30 years, so it took a lot.
You gave it the college try.
I gave it everything. And by the time it happened, it was like, God gave me a green light. It's like, I felt like I've done my best. I haven't regretted it or wondered or...
Right.
I spent one sleepless night wondering if it was the right thing to do. I definitely feel like God's like, you've done all you can.
Right.
It's okay to go. You're going to be all right. So I didn't look back once on that. So it's sad. It's 30 years.
Right.
I'm not saying it wasn't hard, and you have kids involved.
It's never easy.
No. It's not what you wanted.
You found a particular niche, though, in your practice.
Yes.
Tell us about that, and how did you come upon it? And describe it. Yeah.
Sure. So I have a really good friend that I've known since 8 years old. She married a pain physician, anesthesiologist, And he said,
They're my favorite people. I've had like 6 or 7 surgeries and
anesthesiologists. Yes.
But it's not just because they come with the drugs. They're just so calming and they
know pain. They know how it works in your body.
And they
right?
just can really put you at ease
yes.
when you're in the hospital getting ready to
have a procedure. So he has a pain practice, and so that's people that are in chronic pain. It's not just acute pain or surgical pain. So I said, sure, well, I'd like to do these evaluations for people getting spinal cord stimulators. And as I'm sitting with this population, like I told you before, I understand addiction, and that's really how I got in the field, understanding addiction and the family side of addiction. So I'm sitting with this population, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm sitting with someone with an active addiction. Whether they were on opioids or not had nothing to do with the way I was experiencing their story, because their identity changed, their relationships with their family, their spouses, children's partner,
because
career,
of the pain.
Because of the pain. So like an addict will do anything to get the drug, right?
Sure.
That's their obsession, that's their focus. It's just the nature of addiction, right?
Right.
All right. The pain patient will do anything to stay out of pain. The next procedure, the next doctor, the next medication.
Interesting.
They just put everything in their medical model, and then they forget there's this other piece of it. It's, if it's body, mind, spirit, right? Then you have to look into all the others. And, we definitely grew up in the age where doctor knows best and you don't question authority. Not so much anymore. But
they call it practicing medicine for a reason.
Yes, practicing medicine.
It's not an exact science.
Not. But most people, 90% of the people that go to the doctor get cured.
Yeah.
So the other 10% get, chronic pain syndrome or failed back syndrome, or they have some kind of illness that's ongoing, and it's a life changer, just like addiction is a life changer. You can live and thrive with an addiction, but you got to be in recovery. So I promote complex pain recovery as a program I developed that very much aligns with the 12-step program, and has been really successful for me and a really great niche. So, if pain is subjective, which they say it is, that's the definition, right? It's subjective. It's really what you think about pain. Like, sometimes in group I'll say, what are little girls told when they fall down and skin their knee? What are little boys told? Right.
Right.
What are they told?
Right. So you're taught 2 different modes of dealing
little
with
girls,
pain.
they pick her up and wipe her tears away. A little boy, they're like, put a skirt on, So, or however you grew up with pain.
Right.
Like in my house, the bone had to be sticking out before you, needed any kind of help, right? So people have different tolerances, right? Or people with sports.
Yes.
So it's how you feel about pain. And yes, tissue damage is a thing, but there's a psychosomatic element. And I work with that a lot to try to restructure it.
So like some people you say are, this is not a clinical term, but like obsessed about their pain. Not only are they in pain, but everything they do is focused on the next treatment they can get or the next test they can get.
Right. The obsession with being in pain.
Yes.
The next procedure, the doctor, the drug, whatever, it's all the medical model.
Right.
Much like the addict. Once again, that parallel. They'll do anything to get the drug.
Right.
They obsess about it and it becomes so important. They'll do anything. So that's a big part of it. So we talk about the obsession, right? And how to put the pain on the back burner and start thriving and being in a recovery mindset, much like with like AA and Al-Anon and the 12-step programs. Living in recovery doesn't mean you don't still have this issue. Right. But you can live a great life.
You can
thrive
live with
anyway.
it.
Yes, you can live with it alongside it. And it doesn't have to define you. But people they keep the Google. Google can be an obsession.
Yes,
right?
I did my favorite. That's why I was looking into.
Are the people with, that they have a diagnosis, then you get another one. That you get killed in the doctor, they will eventually have a surgery on you. They'll eventually give you another diagnosis just because they do want to help you.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So if you have like chronic fatigue syndrome, they probably I don't have anything else for you. I really don't. But that is a syndrome.
I know people who deal with it.
And that is a syndrome that's considered a mind-body syndrome. Dr. Sarno, Dr. Schubiner are both psychosomatic medical doctors. And I do a lot of studying under them. And I really that has really advanced my chronic pain understanding. I want to be very tender when I talk to someone about their pain because pain's real. I'm not saying it's not real.
For sure.
Just because you have a perception about it and your brain's, the neural pathways are working doesn't mean you're faking it. So
right.
We have to definitely get that understanding and that trust first.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, before you do the work.
God bless you for doing that work. So big news. How long were you divorced?
I was divorced about 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And
5 years this year.
But a little over a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I got married.
Yay!
Yeah, I know.
Yay!
Yeah.
You're not dead yet.
Not dead yet, no. Again, something you just never think you're going to do again, right?
Right. Right.
Getting all that back online and finding your people. And so I met them on Match, and we were a 98% match on Match. So
sounds pretty good.
So I'm not sure what the other 2% is, but we're going to go snow skiing in February, and we're thinking maybe that'll be maybe 99 after that. I don't know. We'll see how well he does.
He's enough.
We might be a 95 after.
Hope.
I don't know.
Let's hope. So thank you for this time.
Sure.
And I really want to show the viewers where you kind of started over your new life.
Sure.
I think we should go there and maybe get a bite to eat.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay.